Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you had a great day. Today we are back in the studio and I need to talk about a very unique test and comparison that we have done recently here in the channel. First off, if you haven't seen, about a week ago I posted a video of track testing, or well, getting behind the wheel of a Porsche GT3 MR Manthey Racing Edition GT3 on the road course, or the circuit they have at Porsche Experience Center, Los Angeles. It was an unbelievable opportunity to go out there and experience what that vehicle could do, especially back-to-back after driving a standard 992 generation 911 Porsche GT3. The regular GT3 is already a fantastic vehicle for taking fast, especially into the corners. The Manthey Racing Edition, this edition is going to be taking the rough edges, or maybe let's say the too refined edges, out of the GT3 and making a balanced track experience. I say this in the context of getting behind the wheel on the road course. You feel the vehicle is more stable, more predictable, and it would last, I think, longer than a regular GT3 for higher speeds. On the track, with the setup it had, having the better upgraded brake lines, the increased downforce, even the wheel and suspension setup of the vehicle, it allowed for just much more usability, I would say, and drivability per each corner I was taking fast. Anyways, in this video, I want to compare how the GT3 Manthey Racing Edition actually feels against the GT3 RS, the new GT3 RS. This is going to be a really unique and I'd say important comparison, because I got to drive both these variants of Porsches at the same location, albeit at different times of the year. So obviously surface conditions can change depending on, let's say, if it's cold out or hot, even if the surface could be more slick. These variables also affect tire compounds and how much they were worn down. Here's what I want to do. I want to play footage back to back on this little course they have out here of what it looks like driving a GT3 Manthey Racing Edition, and then what it looks like driving the GT3 RS. So let's play the video right now. I'll show about 2 laps in each vehicle, and then I'm going to compare, I'd say corner by corner, how it actually feels and looks. welcome back. If you enjoyed that kind of content, hey, please hit the like button. It really does help me out. And subscribe for much more great content coming out your way. When you do that, hit the notification bell and the all icon to get the all notifications here on the channel so you don't miss any videos coming out. By the way, I hope you enjoy these studio videos. I love just talking realistically, to each and every one of you in this relaxed environment, because being able to sit down after going out to these race tracks or testing locations, it's totally different. While I'm on assignment, on a location, my brain's flowing much faster. I don't have time to really assess and analyze as deeply as I do later on in life after I drive these vehicles and spend more time thinking about them. Naturally, this affects, I'd say, any car review test. Getting out of a vehicle over time and having the moments of looking back, I'm able, I'd say, to really build a good picture, especially for all of you, to see how everything stacks up. The GT3 Manthey racing package felt like it had better turn-in, better cornering speed for higher end speeds, such as the initial chicane. I was taking that about 104 miles an hour versus 98 or so in the standard GT3. Right away, with just getting out of a GT3 and into the Manthey racing car, I was faster in a high-speed corner. Obviously, the performance threshold could be even higher. This is just showing you how fast my confidence boosted up in that moment. Talking a bit more about the GT3 MR, the brake feel, I felt much more brake bite initially, and the modulation was more finely tuned, especially on releasing the brake pedal, turning into a corner with the alignment. It rotated very fast. Rotation is very fast and effortless, where when I smoothly let off on the gas pedal, I could feel how, even though the mass of the weight is sitting behind you, and then when you're turning, let's say, right, it's shifting leftwards, the front end of the axle, it still had enough there to grab and turn hard for low-speed corners. And that shows you not only the level of low-speed friction you have with grip, but also the way the front end still can control the motion of the vehicle when the weight is so backwards pressed. That was a really big, I would say, highlight of driving the GT3 MR. Towards the higher end speeds, I felt as if I can turn in and the vehicle itself was able to respond in a more delightful and refined way to the corner. Sometimes when you try to take a corner very fast, you can get a feeling of butterflies, or I hope it can do it. The MR, it felt like if I could trust it, and I did trust it, it would respond and do exactly what I was asking. Obviously, there is a limit to that. What I'm trying to say here is the comfort level of going fast felt higher than the regular GT3. It's also a lot more money than a regular GT3. Let's state the obvious here. It's $55,000 for the package. That gives you the racing suspension, the newer upgraded brake lines, the aero, more. The wheels are an extra $15,000 on top of that. From the research I've seen online, that does not include labor, and you need to pay a Porsche certified dealership or anyone who is certified by the MR team to install the kit. That would increase cost again. So now you're looking at, let's say, $180,000, $190,000 for a GT3. That's without counting in a lot of upgrades. Then you have the $200,000+ GT3 RS. I would say the GT3 MR would cost about the same, if not a bit less, than an MSRP GT3 RS. When you count in a markup on top of the GT3 RS, it's going to completely change the game even further. Realistically, I'd say this kit works best for people who own a GT3 and they don't want to worry about trying to get a new one. I would position it directly in the middle between a GT3 and a GT3 RS. Getting in the RS, everything I said here felt even higher polished out, even faster, more balanced grip to the higher end with the active downforce where it gives you more acceleration. I was getting to even a faster speed on the straightaway. Then for the corner, it was engaging, giving me more feedback and composure with being stuck to the ground. It actually felt like a race car to me. It really did, but a street vehicle. Getting into, let's say, a GT4 car, like a Mustang GT4, or when I got into the Ferrari 48 Challenge Evo, those race cars, they give you so much downforce that it doesn't feel like the G-forces can kick the tail end out. They just feel like they are glued to the ground, and that's what the GT3 RS does. Yeah, the MR gives you a ton of downforce, but the RS is still next level in comparison. I would say it felt like a race car you can own and drive every day. It had the build quality of a Porsche. Race cars usually don't have that. They're not the best build quality. You hear the rattles, and it doesn't feel like you can enjoy it. It's something that's going to be beat up, and it's going to go through a lot of wear and tear. The GT3 RS, it felt like you can get a custom, beautiful spec of the vehicle, and it'll be like a race car on the track, but then you can still enjoy it in the garage. That is what I would classify this new GT3 RS as. Just a 500 horsepower Porsche Cup car you can buy. The MR is what you can do to your regular GT3 to get closer to the RS if you can't get an RS. I would say there is an audience for each one of these vehicles. The 3RS has, 10 more horsepower, 15 more horsepower. It's able to get faster with its 517 horsepower versus 502 on straightaways. It's got the active aero again, so it still can use less drag to accelerate. When you get into a braking zone, that active aero engages to give you an air brake to keep the balance flat, so you don't have as much nosedive on the front end to make you get out of balance. It's an amazing car. It really is. I'm a big fan of the 3RS. This is the MR. This is the GT3. I was hitting about 104 miles an hour. The chicane, high-speed chicane. GT3 RS, 110. There you go. I'm not going to compare lap times because this is not an environment where you're putting down a lap time to compare. This is a learning environment, kind of like a HPDE, a high performance driver education event. This is meant for people to get behind the wheel and enjoy and find out how these vehicles are. So major shout out to the Porsche Experience team for having me out. It was a ton of fun, and thank you to Porsche as well for letting me share this coverage with all of you. I love getting this unique coverage to really break down, to show you from my point of view. I have a racing license, and I love going to the track. And here on this channel, I've been doing that for so many years now, testing out pretty much any performance car you can imagine at the track and on the street. I'm able to give you a good baseline, I think, at least from my point of view. But if you're enjoying this content, please let me know the suspension settings, similarly to the MR, but you don't need to be next to suspension to actually dial in the settings. You can be sitting in the driver's seat and turn those those circle rotary gauges to enhance the rebound, pull it back. Same for the compression. You can adjust that. It's got the four-way adjustability with the suspension system, the coilovers in the MR, but it's not integrated electronically into the steering wheel where you can just turn dials and just, hey, on the go, I want to see this lap. If I loosen up the rebound and maximize the compression, how will that help? How will it help with my turn-in or stability? Okay, I got my lap time right here. I'm going to do it again. The GT3 MR is going to take a different level of adjustment. It's not, you don't need tools to do it. The vehicles are just different. The beauty of the MR is you can apply that onto your current GT3 that you know and love. The 3RS is, hey, if you can get it, it's probably going to cost more money, I'd say, with markups for sure. But that is still, I think, pretty incredible. If you enjoyed this video, hey, please hit the like button. It really does help me out. And subscribe for much more great content coming out your way. I really appreciate it. And I'll see all of you in the next episode.